I rented the cabin in Maine for a break. Work in Portland had burned me out, and a week in Pine Hollow Deep in the woods near Acadiah sounded perfect. It was small, wood walls and a stone fireplace, surrounded by tall pines and fog. I'd been there 2 days, chopping wood and reading by the fire, loving the quiet until that snowy December night. It was 10 p.m, wind howling outside. I was stoking the fire when I heard Ita thud, heavy and dull, on the porch. I froze, poker in hand, staring at the door. Tree branch, I told myself, the storm rattling the windows. I peeked out, snow swirling, nothing else. I locked the bolt, added a log, and sat back down. The thud came again, thump, thump slower, like steps. My gut twisted. I grabbed my flashlight, aimed it at the window-empty porch, just snow piling up. Then I heard a scrape wood on wood, sharp and close be the back wall. My chest tightened. I pulled my hunting knife from my bag, the blade cold, and checked the back door locked, but the knob jiggled, slow and deliberate. I yelled, "Who's there?" No answer, just the scrape again, louder, circling the cabin. I swung the flashlight, shadows danced outside, too big for wind. My hands shook. I shoved a chair under the front knob, knife ready. Then I saw it through the window, a face pale, eyes black, pressed to the glass, grinning wide. Not human too long, too wrong. I stumbled back, fire poker clattering. The face vanished, the scraping turned to bangs, hard on the walls, shaking the frame. I called 911. "Someone's at my cabin crazy," the line crackled dispatcher said. "Storm's slowing us, stay put." The bangs stopped. I heard a laugh, high and sharp, fading into the trees. Rangers got there at 2 a.m, snow deep. No guy, just footprints, big and bare, circling the cabin, stopping at the window. They found a rag, torn and bloody, by the porch. "Squatter maybe," one said. "Knew the woods lucky you locked up." Lucky didn't fit. I left, back to Portland. But the pines haunt me. Every thud, every scrape feels like Himmerit. Last week, I found snow on my doorstep fresh, with a footprint pressed in. I don't sleep by windows anymore, knife by my bed, waiting. The woods don't let go. I borrowed my uncle's cabin in Michigan for a getaway. It sat on Lake Huron's shore, a rickety shack with creaky floors and a dock, surrounded by reeds and water. I'd been there 3 days, fishing and grilling, the quiet soaking in until that muggy August night. It was 11 p.m, stars bright over the lake. I was on the dock sipping a beer when I heard Ita splash big and close, like something fell in. I grabbed my flashlight, swept it over the water ripples, but no fish, no boat. "Wind," I said, settling back. The splash came again louder, by the shore, with a low hum, like a voice underwater. My neck prickled. I stood, light shaking nothing, just waves lapping the dock. I headed inside, locked the door, and grabbed my fillet knife from the kitchen. The hum kept up closer, by the windows. I peeked out empty shore, just reeds swaying. Then I heard it tapping, soft and wet, on the glass like fingers dripping. I yelled, "Get lost!" The tapping stopped, then started again, harder, circling the cabin. My heart raced. I shoved the couch against the door, knife in hand. Through the window I saw it a shape, tall and slick, rising from the lake, water streaming off. No face, just a dark bulk, tapping slow, grinning with teeth I couldn't see. I ran to the bedroom, locked myself in, and called my uncle. "Something's outside." He told me to call the cops line buzzed. "Stay calm, we're coming." The tapping turned to thump sweat, heavy shaking the walls. I heard a gurglow, like drowning laughter, fading into the night. Sheriff got there at 1 a.m, lights cutting the dark. No shape, just wet prints, big and webbed, from the shore to the cabin, stopping at the window. They found a fishhook, rusty and bloody, in the mud. "Drunk fisherman, maybe," one said. "Knew the lake Lucky you stayed in. Lucky didn't feel real. I left, back to Detroit, but the lake's with me. Every splash, every tap, feels like it. Last night, I heard it wet thumps outside my wall. I didn't look. I keep the knife close, waiting. The water's got a voice now." I booked the cabin in Colorado for peace. Nestled in the Rockies near Estes Park, it was a log hideaway with a big porch and pine views, perfect after a rough year in Denver. I'd been there 4 days, hiking and stargazing, the silence healing, until that crisp October night. It was 9:30 p.m, sky clear, fire crackling inside. I was reading when I heard Eater Creek, slow and heavy, on the porch steps. I stopped, ears sharp, probably a deer, I thought. I peeked out the window empty, just moonlight on wood. I locked the door, grabbed my hatchet from the woodpile, and sat back down. The creak came again, creak louder, circling the cabin. My stomach dropped. I swung my flashlight, nothing, just trees swaying. Then I heard a whisper, warm in there, soft, from the dark. My hands shook, I yelled, "Who's there?" No answer, just the whisper again, closer, by the back wall. I checked the back door locked, but the knob turned, slow and quiet. I shoved a table against it, hatchet up, breath fogging in the cold. The whisper turned to knock slow, steady on the windows, then the roof. I saw it through the skylight, a shadow, long and thin, crawling across, grinning down with eyes too bright. I ran to the closet, locked myself in, and called 911. "Someone's on my cabin," the operator said. "Help's coming. Stay put." The knock stopped. I heard footsteps, light and fast, fading down the hill. I stayed put, hatchet shaking, till headlights flashed at 11 p.m. Cops swept the ground snow guy, just boot prints, deep and fresh, circling the cabin, stopping at the skylight. They found a glove, leather and torn, by the steps. "Squatter, maybe," one said. "Knew the trail Slucky you hid. Lucky didn't match the fear." I left, back to Denver, but the mountains linger. Every creak, every whisper feels like him. Last night I found a pine needle on my floor fresh, with a smudge of dirt. I don't sleep by skylights anymore, hatchet by my side waiting.